What's good, my Regal Kings and Queens? Welcome to Zed Regal Mindset. Now, this is the place where the mindset, it always matters. Now, today's reasoning is about the journey to self-love. So many people are on this journey. A lot of people, like myself, didn't have great examples of what love is. You know, it starts from our source figures, the people that raised us when we was young. Now, my parents, they wasn't great examples for me of what love looks like. Yes, they put a roof over my head, food on the table, and clothes on the back. Yeah, but that was as far as their love extended. Why? Because that's all they knew. That's all that they was taught in their upbringing. That would have been a phrase, a sentence that was handed down through generations. All I got to do is make sure you got food on the table, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. That's love. So they handed it down. But that isn't love, because I didn't feel love. I didn't feel emotion. I didn't feel support. I didn't feel any of the things that we associate with real love. So that sent me on a journey to overstanding what real love is, overstanding about what self-love is. It comes through a lot of trials and tribulations. It comes through a lot of broken relationships. It comes through a lot of making mistakes and learning from them. And even though in this day and age, I believe nothing is a mistake, everything is something to learn from, if you learn from it. It's a mistake if you keep repeating the pattern. That's when you're really flopping your own thing, and you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing for whatever reason, for fear, for lack of resources, whatever your excuse is, whatever the reasoning is. The patterns keep repeating. Key to self-love is you have to learn from the past, from the situations that you go through, and keep taking steps towards becoming better. Each time, each challenge. This is how we start to learn to love ourselves. We'll be in situations where it could be family, it could be friends, it could be intimate relationships that we give so much but don't receive in the same way. I've always been someone who gives from a place of pure love, regardless of what people felt I was, or how I was living, or what my intentions were based on who they thought I was. I've always given from a place of true love, for the highest good. You understand? Even though my surroundings and the people around me may have been moving extra bitter, I didn't absorb that energy to the point where my output was extra bitter. I have learned from these energies around me how not to be, and maintained the purity within me, even though it may not have been seen because of how I dressed or carried myself, or how people perceived me to be. Coming from where I come from, you understand? I come from South London, you get me? The garrisons, to the streets, the street life, you understand? To then going through change and transition. It was a process, but within these different processes in life, it taught me lots of different things. Having all these different type of relationships with different people, with family members, and seeing how they dealt with me or didn't deal with me. With lovers, seeing how they dealt with me or didn't deal with me, or could have dealt with me given the situation. There was all steps to understanding what real love looks like from both ends, from receiving it and from giving it. And what I've understood is that if we want change, we have to be the change. So if you want love, you have to become the love you want. You understand? We have to deal with people in the way that you would like them to deal with you. So like personal relationships, if you're somebody who says, I'm looking for my divine soulmate. I'm looking for my twin flame. I'm looking for my life partner. I'm looking for that one person that, some people would say complete me. My mind is I already want to be complete when I meet my counterpart. They're complete, But in order to receive that, you have to be in a place where you know how to give that. So you've got to give that to yourself. Now, this is part of the journey to self-love, how you treat yourself, how we talk to yourself. It's what we'll receive. Do you understand? Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. You know what I mean? We have to be the things that we want. If you want love, we got to learn how to give love. We'll learn it through the things that we see. We'll see relationships and be like, what's all that about? I've seen married people who just got married, but one of them will be out clarting somebody else the next day. I used to think, well, what's the point in getting married? Why didn't you just stay single? I never questioned them about it because their life is their life. We're all on individual journeys. But that would be a thought I had, like, why get married if you're going to go clarting? Now, I get it. Some man will say, it's not about the monogamous life. A man has 1 million sperm and all of these stuff, so it's made to be spread, which I'm not going to disagree with. You know what I mean? Especially when we're all in different stages of life. You get me? I went through the stages where I was a gyalis. You understand? And you couldn't tell me anything about no one woman thing. Are you crazy? But energy attachments is real. Do you understand? And learning to love yourself for your highest good is also even more realer to me. Knowing what I want is key to self-love. Because when you know what you want, you're then able to have your intentions, and you're then able to act on these intentions so that you can receive what you intended and what you want. You understand? Intention without action, you will not get what you want when it comes to love and self-love. So we have to be the change that we seek. You get me? Nah. Giving to yourself comes in so many different ways. Self-talk, investing in new things and building your mindset and building your skills so that you can achieve things on a professional, personal, social, business scale. Whatever your goals are, you have to take in new information in order to change your reality. And that starts with loving yourself enough to say no to demands on your time and energy from other people. No matter who it is, no matter what it is, you have to give to yourself, which means you have to be able to put boundaries up. You know what I mean? Not allow people to drain your energy just because, some people think they're entitled to your time and energy because they're blood related, or because, you and them slap skin every now and then. You understand? Or whatever reason, you've known each other for years and you're friends, so you must do this, or you're entitled to do this. It doesn't always work that way. If it's not for your highest good and if you feel a way about that, then boundaries is what you need. That's part of self-love. You know what I mean? Acting on what you feel and know is right for your highest good in any given situation. You see what I'm dealing with? Self-love helps you achieve self-mastery. Self-mastery helps you achieve the ability to truly love somebody else. How many of you know somebody who's in a relationship? They don't want to be there. They're in it for many different reasons. Convenience, maybe they're just in it because they're getting the good D. Like, there's so many different reasons people could be in a relationship. But half of the time, they're not loving their self. I've seen women on road that, and I look at them, I thought, whoa, like on looks, wifey material. Speak with them, they're telling me, they've got a man, but they still wanna go somewhere and duggle. I'm like, listen, in my mind, I'm like, what I want, where I'm at, what I'm looking for, me and you can't mix. You get me? One, you've already got a man. I'm looking for something different. And if I truly want that perfect partnership, How is me and this person slapping skin for a night going to achieve that? All they're going to do is going to get the good D, get the good energy, and then it's going to phase out. Going to be left in the same place that I was. Discipline, boundaries, you know what I mean? Intent have to be followed with the actions in order to receive. And that's a transferable lesson, you know? You get what you put in. You have to become the thing that you want to receive and be. You see what I'm saying? So you have to know what you want. Have the intention. If it makes it easier, write it down. You know what I mean? So you can take out of your head and put it on paper so you can see it and read it back to yourself. So when you're trying to compute what you're reading, it's because you're seeing it. It's not actually in your head all jumbled up and getting confused with everything else that's going on in your head in that given moment. Do you understand? The journey to self-love can be a very solitary thing. You need peace. You need quiet. You need that time to yourself. You understand? You need to be able to go within so you can hear your own voice, so you can hear your higher self, so you can hear the voice of the Most High. Do you understand? It's an important part of self-discovery, which is learning to love yourself. You get me? That's the regal mindset. You know what I mean? And that's why I say in all areas of life, the mindset always matters. Because if we learn to control our mindset, how we think, that controls how we feel. How we feel controls how we respond to the things that we receive. Do you understand? If you feel bad about yourself and you talk negatively to yourself and then you receive something good from an external source, you may not deal with it in the loving way that you could just because of how you think about it. So we have to change our thoughts in order to change how we feel, in order to change how we receive the things that we get. That's why I say the mindset always matters. You understand? But make sure you check me out on my website, zedregalmindset.com, all of the socials, and stay locked in for another talk, yeah? Regal love.